I went off the marked track there for a while. I couldn't see any markings and the roads diverged. I went left instead of right, and I was way up there hunching, doing a bit of ballet as I got through the briar patch. And I'm wearing the perfect colour for a place that may have the odd bull. I'm wearing I don't know if my camera would pick up even the colour, but it's a sort of red orange top, and my plan is if a bull looks my way, I'm going to take my top off and wave it in the air, and I think that will scare away the bull. What do you think, guys? Would that help to scare away the bull if I take off a reddish top, wave it around like a rag? Do you think that'll scare away the bull? We'll find out, guys. We'll find out. If this is my last video, that means it didn't work. So yeah, I'm getting back to the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So there was a scene at the end, and I'd forgotten about it. It relates to, so yeah, it was the little sister who was mostly cleaning up the room. She was the one who was coming in every day, dropping in food and taking out the slops, whatever, that from the day before, whatever was uneaten. She was the one cleaning the room. The father completely ignored the son, who had turned into a cockroach. He just didn't bother checking in on him, really. The mother wanted to see him, but the others stopped her because I think they had it in their heads that she wasn't well. I think she might have had a weak heart or something, so they didn't want her to go in and see the son, even though she'd already seen him in his insect form. Now I'll go down this way. Yeah. Wind. I'll try and get out of the wind. Right, maybe if I go down anyway, it might get less. But the mother, towards the end, she was persistent. She wanted to see her son. And, the link between a mother and a son is very, very strong. Even if the son ends up in prison, even if the son breaks her heart, in most cases, even if the son turns into a giant cockroach, Mama's still going to look upon that creature as her son. Oh man, I was gonna talk about something there that just came into my head. Oh yeah, it's come back to me. I remember listening to a podcast of the guy who played, what was the name? Junie, was it, or something in The Sopranos? Uncle June. And I think he was saying, I don't know, he was either an only child or he was the only son. And he said his mother and his aunts doted over him, and he said they were all very strong Italian, Catholics, Italian-American Catholics. And he said, I could have killed the Pope. And he said my aunts and my mother, they would have said, well, maybe the Pope was asking for it, So, yeah, the link between a mother and a son is very strong. So, in the Metamorphosis, I'll stand here actually, because I think I can hear the wind coming, and there's a person, actually there's a human being, two human beings I think, coming this way. So they think I'm a right weirdo, just talking into my phone in the middle of nowhere. I'll wait for them to pass. Well, they'll come. I'll just walk down to them. You're going to hear wind, guys, I'm very sorry about this. I'll pause. I'll cease talking when they're near. Buenos días. Hola. Right. The mother in the metamorphosis, she wants to see her son, and the father and the daughter, they relent, and the daughter brings her in with her. And the mother, she's saying that I think the daughter wants to take out all the furniture from the room because she reckons it's of no use, and all Gregor, and his surname begins with S, yeah, whatever, the protagonist, he's now just, crawling around, and she thinks, what does he need the desk for? What does he need the furniture for, really? It's useless. And if anything, it's blocking him from running around the room. But the mother, being the sentimentalist, I'll stand here, right, I'll hunch down here, that's what I'll do. She thinks, no, she says, he'd be used, even, he's in there somewhere inside that insect is my son, and he can't talk, but I'm sure he'd like the familiarity of having that furniture kept in the room, not taken away. It'll make him feel more normal to be in a familiar environment, and if we take away the furniture, he's going to feel like he's in an alien world. Yeah, I can't get out of this wind, really. So they finally do take away the furniture. I think the little sister gets her way. She's practical. She's saying, he's not, Gregor's gone. Gregor's gone, Ma, The Gregor you knew is gone. This creature is not Gregor. And when I came across that part, it's towards the end anyway, I was thinking of those, when you get someone in the family who suffers from dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever. There are, in the initial stages, you have lapses, and then you have periods, in the latter stages, you've periods of a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, and then the person eventually they have no memories of their loved ones, really. Every day is a struggle. Who are you? They feel they're living with strangers, and their loved ones who are living with the person with Alzheimer's, they feel like their loved one is now a stranger as well, and at some stage a decision is made that it's time to send away the loved one with Alzheimer's to professionals. It's a nice word, professionals. It means you can, rub your hands of it, and you can also, to feel better about yourself, you can, reduce your sense of guilt. You can say that not only is your loved one going to professionals, but it's the right thing to do. They're not really the person they look like. They look like the same person, but the lights are on and no one's home. So really, the loved one has died. This is just a shell, a husk, and therefore, there's nothing really wrong with sending that person away to be looked after by total strangers. So I was thinking that when I was reading about the mother who is still loyal to her son, and although the son is there in a very different form, he's obviously less there than he was. The bond is still there between mother and son, and especially on the mother's side. And when I was reading that, I thought of a novel by John McGahern, a fine writer. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the early novels by him. I don't know if it was... His first one was The Dark. Second one was The Barracks, I think. Maybe it was The Barracks. or amongst women. I'm not sure, but there is a scene where I don't want to talk too much here, but the general story is it's somewhat autobiographical by McGahern. When McGahern was about 7, I think he was about 7, his mother got cancer. She was told by the doctors not to have any more children. I think she'd already had 3 kids at this stage, but she became pregnant again, and she had another son, and then she got very sick. She got cancer, and the father was a Garda, a policeman, and he lived in a barracks, so he wasn't living with her. I think he would come some weekends, whatever. He would come on the bicycle. This is back in whatever 1930s Ireland, and the father, going by the novels, was I would say a very nasty man in ways, a very cold man. And the mother, with her own money, she was a teacher, with her own money, she bought a house in the countryside, a few acres. The kids, they had goats, they had a cow, I think they had a donkey, they had chickens. And when she got sick, obviously she was bedridden then, and she had a nursemaid or whatever looking after her. And the father came one day. I think he came with a lorry or whatever to start packing, clear out the house. He couldn't wait till she was dead. The father, the husband, her husband, he couldn't wait till she was dead. He went there about 4 or 5 days before she died, and she was in the room. She was conscious. She knew what was going on, and she could hear the house being emptied, and the children were sent in. I think some of them might not even have been sent in, but they were sent in just to say bye or whatever. And there's a scene where she's lying in her room. She's lying on the bed, and in the adjoining bedroom, I think the bed frames won't fit in the truck, so they're hammering the iron. They're trying to hammer it apart. I don't know what they're using, sledgehammers or what, but they're hammering, and there's this thud, and it's vibrating through the wall, and you can hear the echo because the house is already practically empty. So in her final days, she was going to be in a completely empty house. The father, he couldn't wait. The idea was, you had to get the kids out. They were very young kids, and he probably didn't want them seeing their mother dying. I can understand that, but the idea that he would actually just decide to take everything out on the same day that he took the kids, to actually start clearing out the house. Total scumbag. Anyway, from Kafka to John McGahern, from a cockroach, a human-sized cockroach, to someone with Alzheimer's. There is a knockoff point. There is a moment when people will try to be logical, or they will try to reduce any sense of guilt by saying that the person they're looking after is no longer there, and it's time to send them off to the professionals. A nice word, isn't it? Professionals. The sun is out, guys. The sun is out, finally.